One of the things that I heard on the break last week when we were back home was your own experience, and you dealt with this in the Senate, but it's going to be coming up with your own personal tax liability situation. And I had people sort of in business meetings with me referring to, in a joking fashion, the Geithner Rule, hoping that they would get the same treatment that the Secretary got. Yes, you pay the taxes, yes, you pay the interest, but no, you don't pay the penalty. I asked the question, and I'm not suggesting that you were assessed a penalty. I asked the question of the Deputy Commissioner of the Internal Revenue Service last week during an oversight hearing, and she essentially waved off because she was forced to, I believe, because she's not allowed to discuss the matrix of an individual decision on an individual taxpayer. So you sort of got the sense that she wanted to explain how it was that you were not assessed a penalty, but that she was prohibited from doing so. In the interest of transparency, are you willing to waive that so that the Internal Revenue Service can discuss with us publicly their decision-making process on not assessing you a penalty based on your tax situation?
Let me just say a few things in response to this. I disclosed my full tax records, not just to the administration vetting thing, but also to the Senate Finance Committee at the earliest stage in this process. And they disclosed very comprehensively the full results of their review of my tax thing. And you can find in what's in the public record already very detailed documentation of why the IRS not just first assessed the penalty, but then encouraged me and a whole range of other people to apply for a waiver of that penalty and waive that penalty. So I think that there's a bunch of information in the public domain, but I would be happy to make sure that you have a chance to hear more detail about this issue, what their overall policy is in this case, consistent with whatever constraints they operate with. I'll be happy to follow up with you on that.
Well, and to the extent that you have control over that, and I assume you do as an individual taxpayer, in the interest of transparency, I assume that you're telling the committee today that you're willing to waive that and allow the IRS to disclose to us
I will do whatever
well, let me just finish
is
the question.
appropriate.
We're deciding what's appropriate, and I'm asking you, are you willing to waive that so that the Internal Revenue Service can have the public conversation with us about how it applies? I'm not trying to drag you through this again, but when I'm asked questions, does the Geithner Rule apply to me, Congressman?
Let me just say, there is no Geithner Rule. I'd be happy to come talk to you about this in as much detail as you like, and absolutely willing to talk to my colleagues at the IRS and to figure out how best to help be responsive to your concern. But I was fully open and transparent, as was the committee on this issue, and it is hugely important to me that that is out in the public record in the fairest and the complete possible light. So happy to try to be responsive on this, but I need to talk to them a little bit about what constraints they face on dealing with individual cases.
Okay, I realize my time has expired. It was a complete unwillingness to engage.
Okay.